are awarded the like that. There are few devotees are like that. But till now, there is no clear, what to say, there's no clear guideline on Vanaprastha. I myself also want to do something about this. I want to write to GBC about Vanaprastha ashram, but as usual, I want to do many things and it is on waiting list that what should be done. But yeah, something should be done. Who will do it? Maybe I will do it, or maybe I'll keep on. That's why I keep on speaking this subject. That I think that someone will get inspired and then they will do it. Okay, this fellow is just a talker. He's not walker. He'll keep talking, useless guy. Let us do it. Somebody will get inspired and then they will write something and then they will do it. So I'm also thinking that someone, but should be done. It's very important. Very important. Few times I attempted to, I started compiling all instructions of Prabhupada on Vanaprastha. And then I wanted to actually make a paper and send it to GBC through my spiritual master to see if we can do something. But that also stopped in between because of different priorities which I have. But maybe you can do. So it's an important work. Somebody has to do it.
Why I was asking this question especially was, as we see in Brahmachari ashram, we are all young and all like that, but still there are some health issues and all, and so much care is needed, so much system has to be established. And at the stage of Vanaprastha, the devotees are on a elderly side, so there will be much more involvement of all these things. So in that sense, also there is another issue.
See, one of the biggest issues in Vanaprastha is that who will maintain them. Okay, ultimately, it will come to that question only. That one of the most vexing questions of Vanaprastha ashram will be who will maintain them. Okay, because technically, whether they will maintain themselves or institution is supposed to maintain them, or if they are going to maintain themselves, whatever they have earned in their life, will they give it to the institution and then they will ask institution to maintain? What will be the formula for the Vanaprasthas to get maintained? That is the most vexing question. So that question needs some thought process. Like GBC wants to make a retirement village in Mayapur, retirement village project in Mayapur. And we also made a proposal that how it can be done and how it can be sustained, etc., etc. Bhaktivedanta Academy wants also, Mayapur Bhaktivedanta Academy also, as part of their Varnashram college, they want to have a setup for Vanaprasthas. So, first is to have a system and then try to see what infrastructure is required to support the system. Like, and then how to sustain that infrastructure. These are some administrative issues which are quite challenging. So they need to be done. Because when it comes to brahmacharis and sannyasis, it's a little bit more easy. Sannyasis are less in number. And they are well respected within the society. So if they travel, their travel is taken care. And if when they go different place, something or other is already there for sannyasis. Brahmacharis is they are seen as the hands and legs of the movement. That they do the bulk of the task. They are seen as the hands and legs of the movement. So naturally, there is a lot of attention going towards maintaining them nicely and properly, and recruiting more brahmacharis, and training them properly, etc., etc. Like so, because ultimately that the movement has to run, and that is being done by the brahmachari ashram. So there's some attention going there. Grahasthas are grahasthas. What you can say about them? If you say something about them, it will always end up in some sort of controversy. So they are left to themselves. जो करने का है करो, तुम कुछ करो, अगर आ गया तो अच्छा है, डोनेशन दिया तो बहुत अच्छा है, नहीं आया, कोई डोनेशन भी नहीं दिया, ठीक है. Some kind of situation is there with grahasthas. That is because we don't have vanaprasthas. We don't have someone who can hold grahasthas accountable. Sannyasis don't want to touch grahastha. Okay. अरे तुम है तो तुम है, जितना तुम कम प्रॉब्लम मेरे पास लेके आएगा उतना अच्छा है. Brahmacharis cannot do anything with grahasthas. What they can do, I was telling, like, if a husband fights with wife and then comes to brahmachari, he'll say, wife is Maya. You fell into Maya. This woman is sucking your blood. She's a tiger. She's Bhagini. That's what a brahmachari is supposed to think about woman. So that's what he can tell. But if he tells, no, woman is very nice, she's very good. If he tells 10 people woman is nice, she's very good, he will start believing himself, woman is nice, she's very good. And he will start looking for one more woman who is nice and very good. He will become grahastha. So it's very difficult for brahmacharis to give guidance to grahasthas. So anyway, that is the most challenging part, that how to set up the infrastructure for vanaprasthas. But some work is going on. Mayapur at least is thinking of vanaprastha ashram. In two places, in two independent places, Mayapur is thinking of vanaprastha ashram. But my thought process, whatever it is worth on this, is that grahasthas, some senior grahasthas and those who want to take vanaprastha, they should come together and they should create some initial setup and they should do something for it, and then it will start running. That's what will happen. That's what will happen. And there should be clear idea about what value the vanaprasthas will bring to the movement. What contribution, what value they will bring to the movement. It should not be like, you will have vanaprastha ashram and then they all come there and get some free medication and free food and then what they are doing. Okay, that also we have to. So those are the things we should meditate upon, put some thought on it and then. Okay. Please.
The word pramada is in this verse. Pramada in this verse is very significant. A beautiful wife is certainly enlivening to her husband, but at the same time is a cause of degradation. The word pramada means enlivening as well as maddening. But a man in ignorance does not know that when the sun rises early in the morning, it begins to take away the balance of his life. Thus, day after day, the span of one's life is reduced, and forgetting the duty of human life, the foolish man simply remains in the company of his wife and enjoys her in a secluded place. Such a conclusion is called apakrishta chetana, or degraded consciousness.
Yeah, so grahasthas are generally very much interested in celebrating birthday. No, they are very much interested in this. That they want to celebrate birthday, they want to cut cake, they want to sing happy birthday to you, da 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 da, and all these things. But what actually birthday is? What is birthday? Approach towards death. Approach towards death. And what is this body? What is this body? This body is a jail for the conditioned soul. Happy entering the jail. Happy entering the jail. Anybody will be happy to enter the jail? Anybody will be happy to enter the jail? They will distribute cake. Oh, I have entered the jail. Please take cake. This is called degraded consciousness. What is to be regretted, you end up celebrating. This is called degraded consciousness. It's called degraded consciousness. The soul should not have accepted the material body. That's not a cause of celebration. That's a cause of degradation. The cause of degradation. There's nothing to celebrate in the fact that the soul has accepted material body. There's nothing to celebrate in that. But they think it, oh, we should celebrate birthday, my child's first birthday. But if you carefully observe Vedic system, in Vedic system, birth is observed as a contamination. Death is observed as contamination. In Vedic system, birth and death, both of them are contamination. If a child is born in a house, the house is considered contaminated for 7 days, 10 days. If a man dies in a house or woman dies in a house, somebody dies in the house, that house is considered contaminated for 13 days or whatever it is. Birth is also a contamination, death is also a contamination. Vedic system is very, very clear about it. What should be done is samskara, because samskara is purification. Samskara is purification. So that is what should be done to put the right impression. Celebrating birthday is not putting right impression. Celebrating birthday means telling that body is nice. That you have entered the body is a cause of celebration. That the soul has entered the body is not a cause of celebration. It's a cause of lamentation. It's a cause of regret. One should regret the fact that the spirit soul has entered the material body. But a person thinks that sun is rising, sun is setting, it's very good, we should enjoy about it. But Bhagavatam says very clearly, Ayur harati vaipum sam udyamastam cha yannaso. Udyamastam cha yannaso. So then they think that I am the king, you are the queen, and then they teach their children, you are the prince of this house. And they tell the daughter, you are the princess of this house. And they are very proud about it. Very proud. Oh, my son is, I am bringing my son like a prince. I have brought up my daughter like a princess. But there is only one prince in the house and one princess in the house. That is Krishna and Radharani. Krishna is the prince, Radharani is the princess. Everybody is servant. Grahastha life means to celebrate being the servant of Radharani and Krishna. That this family is a servant of Radharani and Krishna. Not this family is the family of king, queen, prince and the princess. That is what Grahastha life is all about. That making everyone servants of Krishna. Like Prabhupada's father, he used to call sadhus and he used to feed them. And he used to tell the sadhus that please bless that my son will become one prince. Yes? He said, please bless that my son will become servant of Srimati Radharani. This is the consciousness of the father or the mother, that they should try to make their children servants of the prince and princess. Not give them this false hope that they are the prince and they are the princess. So when we do this kind of things, that is called degraded consciousness. That's called degraded consciousness. Such life is considered a degraded life. A life of illusion. So we should be very careful about these things. There's only one birthday which can be celebrated. That's the birthday of the spiritual master. Birthday of spiritual master should be celebrated. It should be celebrated very grandly. Birthday of Acharya should be celebrated very grandly, because their appearance is to reclaim the conditioned souls from the material world. So that should be celebrated. Not that people who are born as the slaves of this body, their birthday should be celebrated. It's all. Sometimes we encourage new people. Okay, anyway they are celebrating birthday. We tell them that okay, you make it Krishna conscious. You have kirtan program. You have this. You have that in the house. It's okay. It's all fine. It's some preaching strategy to bring them to temple or to give them some opportunity to become Krishna conscious. It's all fine. That's all okay. That's all good. Sometimes temples have some program that for birthday, you come and do some puja, or you sponsor some feast or something like that. It's all good, because anyway, these people will spend this money on some unscrupulous things. So at least you give them some opportunity to spend some money in Krishna consciousness. It's all good. But the moment they become trained, the moment they want to be serious, the moment they want to take initiation, then these things naturally should be told that don't be crazy, don't do this kind of things. Okay, please read.
King Puranjana was a great soul, highly intellectual and possessed of advanced consciousness. But due to his being too much addicted to woman, his whole consciousness was covered. Thinking of a woman always within one's heart is tantamount to lying down with a woman on a valuable bedstead. The heart is the bedstead, and it is the most valuable bedstead. When a man thinks of a woman and money, he lies down and rests on the arms of his beloved woman or wife. In this way, he overindulges in sex life and thus becomes unfit for self-realization.
Unfit for self-realization. So that's why nobody should keep processing woman in their mind. Whether it's brahmachari, grahastha, vanaprastha, sannyasi, nobody should do it. Nobody should keep processing woman and sex life in their mind. Or for women, it is men and sex life in their mind. They should not just keep processing that. The heart is meant for manifesting the pastimes of the Lord. That's why it is a valuable bedstead. And the Lord is supposed to sit in the heart. He is the Lord of the heart. And that is his place. But we ignore that our heart is the place for the Lord. And we think that our heart is a place for thinking about sense gratification. That is the problem. Okay.
The younger generation,
Please read.
they indicate the period of youth from age 16 to 30. These 13 or 15 years of life are years in which one can very strongly enjoy the senses. The material enjoyments of the youth are especially pleasing to a person who has no spiritual training.
Yeah, that is a problem. So everybody should get nice spiritual training. The main urge for enjoyment is there between 16 to 30. After 30 is when someone wants to get married, it's more like insecurity. It's not like so much about enjoying mentality. It's more like they start thinking that, oh, what will happen to me? Who will take care of me, etc. Okay.
Kama Kashmala Chetasa also indicates that unrestricted sense enjoyment is not allowed in the human form of life by the laws of nature. The animals do not violate the laws of nature. For example, the sex impulse in the animals is very strong during certain months of the year. The lion is very powerful. He is a flesh eater and is very strong, but he enjoys sex only once in a year. Similarly, according to the religious injunctions, a man is restricted to enjoy sex only once in a month after the menstrual period of his wife. And if the wife is pregnant, he is not allowed sex life at all. That is the law of human beings. A man is allowed to keep more than one wife because he cannot enjoy sex when the wife is pregnant. If he wants to enjoy sex at such a time, he may go to the another wife who is not pregnant. These are the laws mentioned in the Manu Samhita and other scriptures. As such, if one violates these laws, he becomes sinful. The conclusion is that unrestricted sense enjoyment means sinful activities.
But the problem in Kali Yuga is that a man is not even capable of maintaining one wife. So where is the question of maintaining 2 or 3 wives? It's just not possible. So the man has to be very qualified, even materially or spiritually, to maintain more than one wife. Yes.
Param Brahma, Param Dhama, Pavitram, Paramam Bhavan.
Wait, he has a question.
Regarding this birthday, which we celebrate here, but that devotees, we use that opportunity to glorify a devotee, and that is an inspiring effect on other devotees who here in ashram. Generally, we celebrate like that.
You can glorify devotees any day. You don't have to glorify devotee on a birthday. You can have a day in a month for glorifying a particular devotee. You can do it. What is the problem? Why we should do it on a birthday? The problem of celebrating a birthday unconsciously gives a feeling that being in material body is nice. That's the problem. But being in material body is not nice. We should understand this. Many times I have seen that devotees think what comes to the body is a problem. I'm talking about all devotees now, not only grahasthas. I've spoken to brahmacharis, I've gotten grahasthas. Sometimes I've spoken to sannyasis also, because I'm doing medical service now. So I have speak to many people, or many people come and speak to me. I have seen that devotees have this misunderstanding that what comes to the body is a problem. But what comes to the body is incidental problem. The body itself is the problem. The soul should not have accepted material body. That is the problem. That has to be realized very clearly. Without any doubt, it has to be realized. Just because I have become a practicing devotee, I am doing sadhana, I am chanting 16 round, I am doing some services, it doesn't mean that now my body is fully spiritualized, I have become some Uttama Adhikari, and then my birth is to be celebrated. Prabhupada says that one should become pessimistic about material life. Means what? It means becoming pessimistic about accepting a body. Part of that is to express some regret that I accepted this body. To express some regret. But that is proper consciousness. And that is what Mahaprabhu is teaching us. Ainanda tanuja kinkaram patitam mam vishame bhavam budau kripaya tavapada pankajas chitaduli sadrasham vichintaya. Patitam mam vishame bhavam budau. He is teaching that regret of having a body. That regret we should develop, and that is very healthy, because if you don't develop that regret, you cannot go to the next stage of hankering for Krishna. You'll always think that this body is nice, I am doing nice things with this body, so body is okay. And see, 10 people are sitting and glorifying me in front of me for what I am doing with this body. So then where is the question of developing that deep regret from the heart, that why did I take this body? When will I see Krishna? Where is the question of developing the deep regret from the heart? So if you want to progress in Krishna consciousness, we should accept the fact that the soul should not have accepted this material body, and accepting this material body is not a nice thing. Of course, we are supposed to make best use of a bad bargain. That's a different thing. And I agree that devotees should be glorified for their activities. They should be enthused. They should be given positive feedback, and they should become very enthusiastic in doing that. You don't have to select birthday for it. You have a day in a month where you will call all brahmacharis, and then they will all sit, and in that month, on that day, you select some devotees who will get glorified for their activity. That they did this, they did that, they did this, did that. It's worth glorification, and we should do it. Who else is fit for glorification than devotees? So we should glorify devotees. But why on birthday? That is my problem. Yeah, okay, that is also good. Do it on initiation day, that at least you accepted spiritual master. This is good. That should not be happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you. What is there happy about birthday? I still cannot figure out what is happy about birth. The mother cries, the child cries, the father cries. What is happy about birth? There's nothing happy about birth. Initiation day is good. Celebrate initiation day. At least now you have found spiritual master, and these services he has done to the spiritual master. Glorify him for the services which he has done to the spiritual master. Do it. Why not? Why to celebrate the most unfortunate event of the soul entering a material body? क्या logic है? Except ignorance, there is no other logic to it. but we want to be in ignorance and we want to celebrate. I also like cake. Good, you can celebrate on initiation day. It's a nice suggestion. You can do that.
The Vedic times, was charity kind of celebration not done in the birthday?
Yeah. When a child is born, then charity is given. Okay.
And like on the birthdays, they were not like that.
In general, Karmis celebrate birthday.
No, not Karmi. I'm talking in the Vedic principle.
No, Karmis are Vedic people, Baba.
No,
In ISKCON only, we think Karmis are some useless people. Vikarmis are useless people. Karmis are Vedic people. They follow path of piety. Generally, when I say Karmi, is people who follow path of piety.
Correct.
Vikarmis are the useless guys. Okay. But in ISKCON, somehow we have got this idea Karmis are the useless guys. Like we think, no, Kanishta Adhikari is some Bhakta Joe who has joined yesterday. Kanishta Adhikari is Brahmana Vaishnava. He is in mode of goodness. That is what Kanishta Adhikari is. He is an exalted person. Those who are in mode of passion and mode of ignorance are not even Kanishta Adhikaris. They are trying to be Kanishta Adhikaris. So these are some common misconceptions in ISKCON. We think that Karmi is useless guy. Karmi is not useless guy. He is in path of piety. You ask him to do sin, he will think 10 times. But he is interested in piety for material enjoyment. So that person is called Karmi. Karmis celebrate birthday because they think that body is the object of self-realization. In the beginning of Bhagavatam, okay, when Narada Muni came to Vyasadeva, he asked one question to him. Are you satisfied with identifying the body and the mind as objects of self-realization? He was talking about two classes of people. Karmis consider body as the object of self-realization. Jnanis consider mind as the object of self-realization. So his question was, are you satisfied by simply explaining karma and jnana, which you have done in Karma Kanda and Jnana Kanda? And you give little importance to bhakti. Are you satisfied with that? That was his question. So karmis generally think body is glorious and obtaining this body is meant for enjoyment. So therefore, they generally celebrate the body. So that is why if you see in Indian karmic system, you have Shashti Abda Purti, that you become 60, then you have big celebration. Then after that become 70, even more celebration. You get 80, very big celebration. It's all karmi mentality. That body is an object of enjoyment. Then they do this kind of things.
One means what you are sharing is good, Prajit. I'm trying to understand that sometimes a person, when like we hear about these Vandis who would glorify the king.
Correct, yeah.
So it is to help him do what he's supposed to do in the world, not to make him intoxicated on false ego, actually. Similarly, if a person is being made to understand what he should do in life, it is not for, it is one thing that a karmi may utilize that from his idea of enjoying.
I
the
understood
body.
your point.
But
That, yeah.
if a person is becoming more conscious of what his human life is for, then that is also a responsible way of helping him.
Correct.
So I'm not saying that on a birthday we should celebrate,
Yeah, I'm just saying
but
don't-
I'm saying in principle there can be an alternate, because there is no reference to any birthday being celebrated, nor is there a reference about setting a day like initiation day also as a glorification day or something. It is a culture being set up to make some things happen.
Yeah, but
So
then
in
don't
that-
do it. But
in
then
that-
don't do it on a birthday. That's it.
So in that, if a person takes it in the direction that it is for me to understand that what I should do. So just like in glorification project, we take what we should do with that glorification which comes to us.
Correct, yeah.
Similarly, if a person on the birthday is being told that what you did for the spiritual master, it is, if it is on the birthday, that is the only thing which is auspicious about his birth in the human life. In the human life, he got a birth which is very bad one, because he got a birth in this matter body. but it became useful because he got connected to the spiritual master and he's doing something worthy with this human body. It's the best of the bad bargain. So to help him know this is what you should do and you continue doing it, thank you for doing what you're doing with this human body.
But why on that day? That's my
No,
question.
that's what I'm saying, Pradeep. But a person may have that consciousness also in trying to make the thing happen.
No, but I'm asking why on that day, because the whole point of doing any kind of celebration on that day, it imperceptibly gives you an idea that that day is a good day for celebration.
It's a day for not celebration, Pradeep, but in the sense
But it
of
happens,
making
no?
him-
See, invariably what happens, some sort of celebration it ends up in.
Yeah.
Okay. You can't very strictly say on this day, we are going to tell you your birth is useless, your body is a burden, but still you did this to the spiritual master. Therefore, this day is glorious for
can't
you.
say that.
Otherwise, this day is like entering a jail. You're not going to say all that, right?
Correct.
We are going to tell him that you are a very nice person. Without you, this service would not go so nicely. Somehow Krishna has sent you for doing this service in a very nice manner, which is all correct only. We are going to tell how he has contributed to Prabhupada's movement and how that contribution is appreciated by everyone and it is valuable for you. After that, what you do? Happy birthday to you. Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun.
We don't do that. Anyway, I understand your point, Pradeep. I'm trying to just understand that if a glorification is done in the right direction.
Yeah, correct. I agree. I never said you should not glorify. I never stopped the glorification program. I never said you should not glorify.
So, Pradeep, what happens now? See, we may make a system initiation date till date in the last 15, 20 years, whatever I have seen of ashram, it has not come through. Now, what happens is,
But I'll tell you,
I'm not saying that we should go for the birthday.
But let me just tell you, when Prabhupada established ISKCON, there was no system of deliberating birthday.
I know, Pradeep, I'm
This
not-
is all which came in between.
Pradeep, I am not saying that birthday should be celebrated. The point I'm trying to make is that in a ashram setup, there is a need for coming for helping the devotee feel appreciated by the other Vaishnavas.
Correct. Okay.
Now, if the system is made where things work actually around it, that people actually come together for that, then it becomes a reality. When that doesn't become a reality, then I'll tell you simple thing, Guruji. I did not want to make this birthday thing. I made a notice board which was for appreciation, but actually it never came through because people are busy with services. Now it may be a modern Kali Yuga idea that the birthday is getting celebrated. But then at the end of the day, the devotee was appreciated for what he was doing. And at the end of the day, he gets some chastisements here, there also, and whole life. It's not like that birthday he gets intoxicated and then next day he's getting chastised also. So he cannot become so intoxicated on that birthday thing also, It's not like his Vyas Puja and he will keep... I'm just sharing with you. Someday, if it comes through a system, I will be very happy.
Yeah, but see the problem. That's why I'm saying there's a whole flaw in the whole approach. I'm saying, okay. Sometimes you have to do some deep cut operation in certain things. Okay. What consciousness tries to bring everybody on a birthday, but not on an initiation day? Let us say you want to change it from birthday to initiation day. Now, if it is a birthday, everybody will come. But if it is an initiation day, everybody will be busy with service. What consciousness drives that? We need to look at that. The consciousness which drives that, according to my plain reading, is birthday is an important day. And that is a day which needs to be celebrated. So on that day, we should give some importance to that person. And what is the underlying consciousness? That my birthday is also an important day. So on that day, I will adjust all my services and I will be available for glorification of X, Y, Z. Because I think that the soul accepting a material body on a particular day is a very important day. So that day, I am willing to adjust all my services and be present. There's an underlying flaw in the consciousness of why that day works and other days don't work. So that underlying flaw has to be addressed. That has to be addressed. If the intention is to glorify a Vaishnava for his services, and then if that is found to be very conducive for devotees' spiritual progress, then naturally, whether it is birthday or any other day, that event should be given prime importance. That event should be given prime importance, and people should adjust their life according to the event. Now we have created a problematic tradition. And then we are saying that since the tradition is working, now we want to continue it. But if devotees are supposed to be glorified on their birthday, then Prabhupada would have made a system that on the birthday of a devotee, then we should all glorify that devotee. Would have made a system, no? Anyway, whenever I take up this birthday topic, it's always super sensitive. Everyone wants to fight. Ting, 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 ting.
Having any fight.
I understand. I'm just saying that. I'm not saying you're fighting, but I'm just saying that it's such a what to say? It's such a difficult topic for people to digest that we should not celebrate birthday. Somehow or other, we want to come to this situation where we can find some excuse to celebrate birthday. So I'm just saying that there is an underlying flaw in the collective consciousness of ISKCON towards birthday. I'm not talking about a particular place or anything. And always I get chastised for it. Whenever I say this, my own wife chastises me that why can't you keep your mouth shut about these things? Why that you have to open your mouth and speak these things? She herself chastises me. And parents look at me like some sort of enemy who has come from Narakaloka and making their life miserable. Yes, sir.
Just last thing. So I accepted your point. Just what once one thing came to my mind about when Brahma Vimohan Leela took place. So that time Lord Krishna was there with covered boys, but Balramji was behind because his birthday was there. And something was going on because of which he was told to stay back. I don't know what is there.
We should celebrate Krishna's birthday. We should celebrate Balram's birthday. We should celebrate the birthday of all Vishnu Tattva's appearance. These are all meant to be celebrated. We should celebrate the birthday of Acharyas. We should celebrate the birthday of the spiritual master. These are all meant to be celebrated. These are all meant to be celebrated. Nobody should object these things. Okay. They are all meant to be celebrated. I'm not objecting that why are you celebrating Janmashtami and things like that. If you don't celebrate Krishna's birthday and Balram's birthday, whose birthday you are going to celebrate?
No, my question was
You're talking about it shows that there is a tradition of celebrating.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I understand. I gave answer to him, no, that the Golokavasis, if you see their activities, I mean, when in the manifested Leela of Vrindavan, if you see their activities, they are doing so many things. Okay, but all those things they are doing simply for Krishna's pleasure. Okay, so it is, if we have to follow in the, first of all, we cannot imitate them. What is recommended that we should follow in their footstep. That's Raganuga Bhakti. That we should follow in the footstep of the residents of Vrindavan. Okay. But in order to become qualified to practice Raganuga Bhakti, in order to follow their footstep, one should go through the Vaidhi process properly. And one should get disenchanted with this body. Okay. It's a basic requirement to follow the Vaidhi process properly. Disenchantment of the material body is a basic requirement to follow Vaidhi Bhakti properly. So that should be our priority, that we should get just disenchanted with this whole material circumstance. And we should utilize every opportunity positively to do that. We should not do reverse things. You understand? if we want to become qualified to think of the inhabitants of Vraja and think of following their path, then every activity of ours should be done simply with one aim of pleasing the spiritual master and Krishna. Okay. So in order to do that, whatever is our existing attachment, we should try to detach from that. And whatever we do should help, every single activity we do should help that detachment. Anasaktascha vishaya. Every single activity we do, we should consciously do it in such a way that it actually helps us to detach from that attachment which we have. That's what we should try to. So we should look at everything from that perspective. Okay. So some more comments?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Can I ask Prabhuji?
Yes, Mataji.
Prabhuji, now as you said, we have to celebrate acharyas, spiritual masters. Similarly, all these brahmacharis who have dedicated their life for us, they are like, acharyas only, like for our children also. So can our children celebrate and write some cards to glorify them?
Okay, how many of you are accepting that you are all acharyas? Please raise your hand. Please raise your hand that you are accepting acharya pad, that we are acharyas, we should have Vyas Puja celebration.
They will never accept Prabhuji because nobody will say that I'm
You
an
should also not accept if you want to save them. If you want to really save them, you should also not accept.
What about our children? I'm saying like our children, they have.
See, please understand, okay? When we are dealing with devotees, we are meant to glorify devotees, okay? That is our duty. We should glorify devotees. And we should see them as saviors of our Krishna conscious life. But we should also distinguish devotees, and then we should do everything in such a way that everyone is saved in Krishna consciousness. That is also our responsibility. Okay? So these things are important. What about your children? You should tell your children that this material body which you accepted is not meant for enjoyment. If you don't teach them at this age, at what age you are going to teach them? If you are going to tell your children this body is meant for enjoyment, and then suddenly when the child grows up, one day, like, I'll tell you a typical example. Okay. When girls are small children, the parents dress them in such a way that their body is exposed. Okay. If you ask them, why are you dressing the child like this? They will say, "Arey, choti bachchi hai, kya problem hai?" Theek hai, okay. But the same girl, when she attains puberty, suddenly the mother will tell, cover your whole body. Then the child will think, till yesterday I was running like an air-conditioned body woman, and today my mother is telling that cover my whole body. What happened to my mother? She's become crazy or what? Because she has been systematically trained to expose her body from young age. And suddenly when she is 13, 14, she attained puberty, you tell her, you cover here, you cover there, this is showing, that is showing. Is she a human being or is she a machine? That one day you will switch off the machine and then it will come with full cover outside and will walk with burqa. It's all not possible. That is why Bhagavatam is telling, Kaumaram Acharet Pragyo. From the age of 5, Bhagavata Dharma should be taught to children. According to their age, according to their understanding. And according to time, place, and circumstance, Bhagavata Dharma should be taught to children. If we want our children to become nice devotees, this is what we should do. Okay?
Thank you.
Okay. Yugal Shyam Prabhu had to say something. He was laughing. I was not supposed to be right in the party, okay?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Can I ask one question, Prabhuji?
Yes, Roji.
Prabhuji, now, if we see, the children have this mentality, or they see outside world, their birthdays are celebrated, then they feel like, no, of course, we have to teach them at this age, but then how to positively get accommodated with this kind of such celebrations for children?
Yeah, see, it all depends upon what kind of priority the parents attach to what the child should be taught importantly. Okay, I'll give you another example. There are many children who are bringing non-veg in their school and then they're eating. In Karmi school, if you go, that there will be children who are bringing non-veg and they're eating. Naturally, our children become curious about that food because they have not seen that food. So naturally, they become curious about that food. So they will naturally come and ask the father and mother that this fellow was having something brown in color in his thing and everybody was eating that. I have never had that. Can you please make that for me? Or why we are not eating food? Why we are not eating that? And even in the textbook itself, it is there that the egg is the source of protein, meat is the source of this, that is the source of that. Even nowadays in textbook itself, it is there. And the teacher is teaching that egg is the source of protein. And then there is a fill in the blanks. Dash is a source of protein. And he has to write EGG, egg is the source of protein. Okay. So will you give egg to the child? No. You will tell the child you should not eat egg. If you eat egg, you will go to hell. All this story you will tell the child. No. Because you think that it is priority for the child not to get attracted to it. Okay. But when parents themselves are not convinced that it is a priority for the child not to get attracted with celebrating the appearance in the body, then they will also be like that only. So it all depends upon what relative priority you attach to things. It's very, very simple. It's always like that. It's always like that. What relative priority you attach to things, accordingly you bring up your child. Because the child, when it goes to outside world, it is exposed to everything. It is not only exposed to birthday, it is exposed to non-veg eating, it is exposed to intoxication, it is exposed to so many different things. But you think that not eating non-veg, not getting intoxicated, these are all high priority items. But you don't think that birthday, not getting enamored by a birthday celebration is a priority for you. So when you don't think it is a priority, then you think, okay, are wo chal raha hai, chalne do. But why don't you take the same attitude for eating egg, chal raha hai, chalne do? My son was asked to write an essay about some cricket player when he was in school in Dubai. So he came to my wife and then he told, I don't know about this man. I am supposed to write an essay on him. Because of course, he never knew about cricket players. Okay. So social studies, he was given assignment that you should write an essay about this cricket player. So he came and asked my mother that please tell me something about this guy. I don't know anything about him. I'm supposed to write an essay. If I don't write this essay, I will get low marks. So my wife gave him an answer. He is not a Mahabhagavata. Don't write anything about him. You get low mark. Finished. That's it. Story over. So my son told my wife that, my rank card mark will be less. He said, I don't care for your rank card. Don't write anything about him. That's it. So it is about what priority you want to attach to what. When your child wants to learn things. Okay. So if you carefully think, the many things you are restricting your child from doing because you think it is important for the child. So if you also think that it is important for your child to know from the beginning that entering a material body is not an occasion for celebration, then you will accordingly train your child. That's it. God Leela Prabhu.
Prabhu, I have just small question.
Yes, Roji.
In Vrindavan, apart from Mother Yashoda and Nanda Maharaj, no other family was celebrating the children's birthday?
I don't know, Prabhu. When you go there, you please sit and tell me.
All right, thank you.
I am still struggling to find that I am not this body. What will I know about Vrindavan? Yes, Vrindapriya Mataji. You know something about Vrindavan.
No, Prabhuji. Actually, you gave the example about that essay writing. So my question was, so like it is the occupational duty of a student to study, and whatever, even though he's in a means academic, in case of academics, he has to write. So
Yeah, correct.
is it
I agree with you. I agree with you. That's why my wife took him out of the school.
okay? So that was my question, that in case of student, he has to do the study. That is his occupational
Yeah,
duty.
she told that you don't have to continue in the school. We'll take you to Gurukul. We'll put you there. You don't have to write nonsense essays about cricketers in life. Finished.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Prabhu.
So I'm not saying everybody should do it, but I'm just saying that I just wanted to make a point that we take the direction of our children in what we think is important priority for us. I just wanted to explain that point. That's it. I'm not saying that that you should take out your child from school and things like that. We as parents have some idea that this is priority for my child and it is not priority for my child. Accordingly, we give guidance to our children. Okay. So that is something we should honestly recognize, that we should honestly recognize that this is what we are doing, rather than trying to say that it is impossible to do it. Okay. That much honesty all of us should have. That's it. Okay. Please read.
Checking population by contraceptive method is another sinful activity. But in this age of Kali, people have become so sinful that they do not care for the resultant reactions of their sinful lives. According to the Vedic scripture, the contraceptive method should be restrained in sex life. Children are called parinama or byproducts. And when one consults his good intelligence, he can see that his byproducts should be expansions of his Krishna consciousness.
Yeah, the byproduct should be expansions of his Krishna consciousness. So that's what having children in Krishna consciousness is all about. So that is the best way to preach, that when a man and woman come together to lead a family life, if they have children who are very Krishna conscious, that is the most attractive preaching in Kali Yuga, because in Kali Yuga, not many people can stay away from family life. So if the world sees that the Krishna conscious movement is able to provide happy, stable, Krishna conscious family life, that is the greatest preaching which we can contribute to this world. Okay, please read.
Even though we may produce many good children, our desire for sex that is beyond the prescribed method is to be considered sinful. One may beget children up to the age of 50, but after 51, one must stop. begetting children and should accept the Vanaprastha order. In this way, he must leave home and then become a sannyasi.
Correct. Yeah. So, Prabhupada says it very clearly that sex should be only for procreation. If sex is not utilized for procreation, then it should be considered as sinful. Okay.
Not only was Puranjana, the king of Panchala, satisfied in his own sex life, but he arranged for the sex life of his 1100 sons and 110 daughters.
So this is how sex life actually expands. I have married, I have had many children. So now my children should marry, they should have many children, and their children should marry, they should have many children, and their children should sit on my lap and pass urine. So this is the success of my life. So this is called illusion. Please read.
Next.
Oh, I moved it. It is not moved. Kya ho gaya?
Moving. Sons and daughters should not be allowed freedom to intermingle with opposite sex unless they are married.
Okay, we have had enough controversy for the day. I don't want to get into another controversy. Okay, please read.
Processing.
Oh, there is some time delay between, because I am moving, but it is not moving. The body is taken as Panchala Desha, or the field of activity, wherein the living entity can enjoy the senses in their relationship to 5 sense objects, namely Gandha, Rasa, Rupa, Sparsha, and Sabda. That is, the sense objects made out of earth, water, fire, air, and sky. Covered by the material body of subtle and gross matter, every living entity creates actions and reactions, which are herein allegorically called as sons and grandsons. Thus, the field of actions and reactions by which one's descendants are increased begins with sex life. Thus, the living entity inclined towards sexual gratification becomes involved in hundreds and thousands of actions and reactions. Technically, this is called as Hridaya Granthi. That is explained by, of course, next canto. Rishabhadev will explain this in elaborate manner, and he will also explain the process of cutting off this knot in the heart, Hridaya Granthi Vedanam. Kapiladev also explained this in the Sankhya philosophy, that how the Hridaya Granthi is formed and what is the process of slackening this knot of the heart. Bhakti is considered the process of slackening this knot in the heart of the living entity. So the basic explanation is that, so Puranjana and Puranjani, they become very close to each other, and then they had long sex life, and out of sex life, 1,100 sons were born, 110 daughters were born. So these are all allegorically related to the actions and reactions which accumulate by the material activity of the spirit soul. And there are thousands and thousands of actions and reactions, and the spirit soul just gets entangled and he becomes confused with his actions and reactions, and he simply creates, he gets into self-created duties which are impelled by these actions and reactions, and he starts thinking that without doing these duties, everything will come to a standstill. Just like a householder is reluctant to give up his household life and enter into Vanaprastha. He thinks that, oh, if I take to Vanaprastha, what will happen to my son? Who will give him guidance? He will have no guidance. What will happen to my daughter? Who will give her shelter? So many things he thinks about. He doesn't understand that it is his duty to detach from family life. He doesn't understand like that. He simply thinking that, oh, I have this duty towards my son, I have that duty towards my son. Now my son's son is not married, his son is not married. All sorts of nonsensical expansion of thoughts due to self-created duties. One actually becomes entangled in them. So please read.
One's sons, grandsons, and other descendants are ultimately plunderers of one's accumulated wealth.
So these actions and reactions are plunderers of the accumulated wealth of piety. of the living entity. So the living entity should not get entangled in this.
Thus, such industrialists, businessmen, or karmis are called mudas in the Shastras. They work very hard, accumulate money, and are satisfied to see that this money is plundered by their sons and grandsons.
Yeah, they're very happy to see that. Oh, my son is enjoying. My grandson is enjoying, like that. Okay, we should stop here. It's 12:18. We'll take a break. Then we'll do Gayatri. And then come back. We'll continue. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. Kindly try to settle down. So in this verse, Narada Muni frankly says, like you, Yata Bhavan, which indicates that King Puranjana is none other than King Prachina Barhisat himself. So here he has brought the allegory and the actual person to fruition. He has brought them to one place. He said, finally, he said, like you, this guy was doing, like you, that he became implicated in many desires, like you. So this is a very nice purport about, Prabhupada gives a lot of information about meat eating, in case, you want to go through some nice information about meat eating. This is one good purport. It's a long purport, but since most of it are maybe familiar to you, so. Okay, so now there is a change of scenario. Now from Puranjana's enjoyment, we are going to see one more set of people, or one more set of characters who are getting introduced in this in this allegory, and they are going to play an important role in the later part of the allegory. So that is, now he is introducing a character known as Chandavega, who is from Gandharva Loka, and he has 360 powerful Gandharva soldiers. Okay, please read.
Time is figuratively described here as Chandavega. 1 year contains 360 days, and the soldiers of the Chandavega herein mentioned represent these days.
So, okay, please read.
Notes.
There are so many machines for ordinary household activities. There are machines for washing dishes, for cleaning floor, shaving, clipping hair, and today everything is done by machine. All these facilities for sense gratification are described in this verse as Swakama Vinirmitam. Therefore, in this verse, the word Vilumpanti, plundering, is used. Everything is being plundered from the very beginning of our lives. This plundering of our possession and lifespan begins with the day of our birth. I didn't say this. One day will come when death will finish everything. So the day of birth is the beginning of the plundering process. So Chandavega, he decided to attack the city of Puranjana. He decided to attack the city of Puranjana, and then he attacked with his soldiers the city of Puranjana. And then there was a long fight between the snake, which is the protector of the city, and the soldiers of the Gandharva soldiers of Chandavega. And like this, 100 years passed, and the snake was fighting alone. The snake was fighting alone, and slowly he was becoming weaker and weaker. So this shows the passage of day and night, by which the body becomes weaker and weaker. Okay. So seeing his most intimate friend was weakening, King Puranjana and his friends and citizens living within the society all became very anxious. So naturally, old age brings anxiety. Everyone starts thinking now, what will happen to me? How I will support myself? Who will take care of me? I cannot enjoy as I was previously enjoying. I lost appetite. I lost the sense of taste. I'm eating so many medicine. So many things become concern about life. So old age brings anxiety. Naturally, it has the ability to bring anxiety. Okay. Please read.
The living entity resides within the body and struggles for existence with the limbs of the body, which are referred to here as citizens and friends. King Puranjana, the living entity, being thus victimized by the hard struggle for existence, took to transcendental meditation with his friends and relatives.
So Puranjana collected taxes in the city known as Panchala and thus was able to engage in sex indulgence. Being completely under the control of women, he could not understand that his life was passing away and that he was reaching the point of death. So he was just trying to collect whatever he can and he is trying to accumulate whatever he can simply for his enjoyment. And he did not think that whatever he is collecting and spending for his enjoyment is going to hit him back one day. It's going to hit him back one day. He did not think about it. Oh, my dear king, Prachina Barhisar, at that time, the daughter of formidable time was seeking her husband throughout the three worlds. Although no one agreed to accept her, she came. Who is this daughter of time? She is called Jara. She is the old age. Nobody wants to accept old age. I'm changing here, but it takes a lot of time to change. Internet is slow. So it takes a lot of time, but nobody wants to accept old age. But old age comes. So then what they do? They die. Literally, they die. They dye their hair. They make it black. They don't want to see white hair. They dye it. So I always say they die before they die. The moment you start dyeing your hair, that means it's indication that you are going to die. So they have nice name, dye. Dye your hair, that means you're going to die. But they don't want to see old age. They don't want to see white hair. They don't want to see that old age is coming and attacking them. They want to be under the illusion that they are very young. Okay, please read.
The invalidity of old age known as Jara is figuratively explained here as a daughter of time. No one likes her, but she is very much anxious to accept anyone as her husband. No one likes to become old and invalid, but this is inevitable for everyone.
Inevitable for everyone. And when when old age comes, then one loses taste for everything. One loses taste for everything. Okay.
One should not wait for old age in order to become Krishna conscious due to the invalidity of old age. One cannot make progress in Krishna consciousness, however opulent he may be materially.
Yeah, so this idea that we can become Krishna conscious when age comes, sometimes some thought process is there in the outside world. They think that spiritual life is meant for old people. But when they become old, if you tell them, you please come to spiritual life, still they don't want to come because they are not used to spiritual life. They're simply used to enjoyment. Simply used to enjoyment. So now Narada Muni is saying that Jara, she wanted to attack Narada Muni. But Narada Muni said that, no, I don't want to marry you. So he is talking about this, and Prabhupada is saying, those who live as brahmacharis must follow the footstep of the great sage Narada Muni, who never accepted the proposal of Jara. Please read.
Those who are too much sexually addicted becomes the victims of Jara, and very soon their lifespan is shortened. Without utilizing the human form of life of Krishna consciousness, the victims of Jara die very soon in this world.
Yeah, so when a man discharges semen, that means what he is doing? He is shortening his lifespan. He is shortening his lifespan. And a person who is sexually addicted, then he willingly discharges his semen so many times. And he thinks that he is getting some pleasure out of it. But what is happening? He is killing himself. He is killing himself. He doesn't understand this. He thinks, oh, this is very nice. This process of discharging semen is very nice. And then he kills himself. So like Narada Muni, many other devotees of the Lord are engaged in preaching the glories of the Lord in different places in different universes. Such personalities are beyond the jurisdiction of material laws. So you're all very fortunate that if you remain Naishtika Brahmacharis and if you dedicate yourself to the preaching movement, you will be beyond the jurisdiction of material law. This is the beauty of becoming a nice brahmachari. So then Narada Muni told her that I will not marry you, but I'll tell you that you can go and approach the king of Yavanas, who is Bhaya or fear. And she wanted to accept fear as her husband. But there also she is not going to be successful. She's saying, oh, my dear sir, you are the best of the untouchables. I am in love with you. I want you as my husband. I know that no one is baffled if he makes friends with you. So she's talking some nice things about fear, the old age, Jara, and then she wants to take her as husband. Okay, please read the purport.
The Sanskrit words Yavana and Malicha apply to those who do not follow the Vedic principles. According to the Vedic principles, one should rise early in the morning, take bath, chant Hare Krishna, offer Mangalarti to the deities, study Vedic literature, take prasadam, and engage in dressing and decorating the deities. One must also collect money for the temple expenditure, or if one is householder, he must go to the work in accordance with the prescribed duties of a Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra.
Whether one lives in India or outside India, he is called Yavana or Mlecha if he does not follow the Vedic principles. So sometimes we think Yavanas and Mlechas means only foreigners. Indians are all exalted people. Prabhupada makes it clear that whether you live here or there, doesn't matter. That if you're not following the Vedic system, that means the life is Yavana's life or Mlecha's life. Please read.
Because the residents in this Krishna consciousness movements are advised to follow the Vedic principles, they naturally becomes hygienic.
Yeah, so we are very clean, we are very hygienic, because that's our lifestyle. Our lifestyle is promoting external and internal cleanliness.
Thus,
yeah, please read. Read.
Thus, Jnani, Jara, the effect of old age, does not harass a devotee. This is because a devotee follows the instructions and the determination of Narada Muni.
So we are not so much worried by old age. We are not so much distressed by old age. Okay, if it comes, it comes. It has to come anyway. But we can simply dedicate our life Apparently, a devotee may grow old, but he is not subjected to the symptoms of defeated experience of a common man in old age. A devotee knows that after death, he is going back home, back to Godhead. Therefore, he has no fear of death. Thus, instead of depressing a devotee, the advanced age helps him to become fearless and thus happy. So, Jara went and she proposed to Bhaya. So then they both become partners. But for devotee, Jara is not necessarily not Bhaya. Jara is that, okay, body is supposed to dwindle, it will dwindle, and whatever will happen to this body will happen. And then hopefully we will try to go back to Krishna. We'll do our best effort to try to go back to Krishna. That's how we take up old age. And I have seen many devotees, sometimes devotees, they either come to leave their material body in Mayapur, or there are devotees who are residents of Mayapur who keep leaving their body. And because we are involved in, I'm involved in medical services, sometimes I have opportunity to see devotees leaving their body. And it's so inspiring that how they can leave their body. Even though sometimes it may be sometimes very difficult circumstance, like some devotees get afflicted by very terrible disease, and their pain is, they undergo very intolerable pain. But their consciousness is sometimes very peaceful and fixed. They chant Hare Krishna, they hear Hare Krishna, and then they very peacefully leave their body. There was one devotee, he was okay, he was giving Bhagavatam class. After giving Bhagavatam class, he was supposed to leave Mayapur. He was supposed to go to Kanpur from Mayapur. So he gave Bhagavatam class, he came out, and he was waiting for Toto in the Namahatta gate. He was waiting for Toto. And suddenly he felt that he has some pain in the heart. So he called another devotee. He said that I am not feeling very comfortable. And can you please come and help me? So that devotee was coming. Then they called me. I said, okay, either you take him in the Toto to the hospital or send ambulance or whatever it is. So somehow he reached hospital. And then in the hospital, they're trying to do some, first aid to him. He had massive heart attack. So they're trying to do some immediate injection, medicine, whatever is needed for heart attack treatment. They're trying to put him on emergency and do all those things. And as the doctors and nurses were trying to do things to him, what he was doing, because the other devotee was there with him, so he started taking out everything from his pocket. He took out his purse, he gave it to him. He took out watch, gave it to him. He took out whatever he had, everything, and he gave it to him. And then he had given his chanting bag to him. He took back the chanting bag. He gave everything else, key, purse, everything he had, he gave to the other devotee who was with him. And the chanting bag which he had, he took it back. And then he put his hand into the chanting bag, and he was not able to chant loudly. He was trying to chant loudly, he was not able to chant loudly. Few minutes, he left his body. Few minutes, just left his body. Another devotee, he came from West. And then a nice book distributor, he came from West. And he was okay. Everything was all right. And he was speaking to his friends that when time comes for me to leave my body, I want to come to Mayapur and leave my body. Like that he was saying, but suddenly he deteriorated and left his body. He left his body. Sometimes you can see that things happen, like Pankajangri Prabhu when he left his body. We took him to Calcutta, and we were taking him to Calcutta, and on the way, he was first of all reluctant to go to Calcutta. He didn't want to go to Calcutta. And when we were taking him on the way, he was telling it's better to sit in Brahmacharya ashram and lament than to go on this road to Calcutta. So anyway, he went to Calcutta, and then we were trying to treat in the hospital. His COVID was gone, and then he tested negative for COVID, but still his lungs were become very affected. So he was still having difficulty in breathing and things like that. So every time doctors, from all over the world, they all make big conference and then they meet and talk to him. And he was very jovial. He was till the end. He was till the time he was talking. his sense of humor never went away from him. So, these doctors are talking. And one time he asked all the doctors, why are you all so serious? Then they asked him, what do you want? And he said, all I want is little humor in life. Why people are so serious? He was asking. Then at one point, the doctors are thinking that because his consciousness was like fluctuating, so the doctors are thinking that sometimes, medicinally caffeine is given to boost the consciousness. So they were thinking if they should give him some caffeine to boost consciousness. So they were discussing that should we give some caffeine to boost consciousness. He told so many doctors from all sort of countries, finally, all they want to do is to give me a cup of coffee. They're saying like that. So anyway, he was, but when he came to know that it's very difficult for him to survive, then he started pushing us like anything to take him back from Calcutta to Mayapur. And he was supposed to come in ambulance to Mayapur, and he had very high oxygen demand. So we had calculated how much oxygen he needs from Calcutta to Mayapur. Journey is 5 hours. We're thinking to put 6 hours or 7 hours of oxygen and everything. So we arranged everything like that. But still we had some little doubt that something may go wrong somewhere. So we told our doctor from Mayapur, he is a nice devotee, my god brother. We told him that you take another ambulance from Mayapur, you put more oxygen cylinder, and then you go and meet them on the way. So he was leaving from Calcutta and he was going, Pangjani Prabhu was leaving from Calcutta and our doctor was going from Mayapur. And when he met Pangjani Prabhu, and exactly at that time, whatever calculation we did, everything went wrong. And that ambulance in which he was coming, his oxygen was finishing. So it was good that we took so many cylinders. So immediately we put the new cylinders. And in the process of connecting the oxygen, that technician, without connecting the new cylinder, he disconnected Pangjani Prabhu from the old cylinder. And then for few seconds, like for 20 seconds or so, Prabhu's saturation dropped. The doctor told me that his saturation dropped, and then he seemed to have lost consciousness. So they all panicked, and his servant was shouting, Narsinghadev, 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 like that he was shouting. And our doctor, he was connecting the cylinder and trying to put some emergency things on him. After 20-30 seconds, he opened his eyes and then he said, don't worry, nothing will happen to me till I reach Mayapur. So then he came to Mayapur. He reached Mayapur almost around 11 o'clock, 11:15 like that. And we kept darshan open. Late night, the darshan was still open for him. We kept the darshan open for him. We kept the altar open for him. So the ambulance straight went into the temple courtyard. First, it went into the Radhamadhav courtyard. From there, he took Narsinghdev's darshan. And then the ambulance went into Panchatattva courtyard. From there, he took Panchatattva's darshan. Then we took him to Senior Brahmacharya Ashram. Then after that, it was like. So when he was leaving his body, so the doctors calculate consciousness level. It's called GCS. Those who know medical a little bit, they know this. They have a GCS score. So by doing certain things on a body and then seeing the involuntary reaction of the body, because like, in a body, if you try to hit here, it has to react in a certain way. Whether you're consciously reacting or not, unconsciously the body is supposed to react in a certain way, where if you hit the body in certain points. So they were trying to check his consciousness like that. And then he was not responding to it. So then they were saying GCS is low, something like that. Then I went to see what exactly is happening, because they were all panicking, GCS is low. So I went to see what exactly is happening. And I saw that he's not responding to hitting here, hitting there, because two nurses came from Bhaktivedanta Hospital, Mumbai, the ICU nurses. They came and they were helping with the nursing part. So they were doing something and he was not responding. So they were all saying that, oh, we don't know whether consciousness is there or not. The GCS is very low. He's not responding like that. And spontaneously, he moved his hand and he adjusted himself. I was just seeing, he started moving his hand and adjusting himself. Then I told the doctors that, see, it is not the question of GCS. It's just the question of he doesn't want to respond to anything. Because I saw him moving his hand and it was not like, it's a substantial movement of hand and it's not like it did not happen out of accident. So I told them that, see, he is in full consciousness, but he doesn't want to respond. He is shutting down himself to external consciousness. So now you don't disturb him. Let him do what he's doing. So then there was some sputum and something which was stuck in his airway, and that was blocking his airway. This substantial amount of sputum was stuck in his airway, and that was blocking his airway. So the doctors wanted to actually put some tube and pull it out from his airway by suction. But one instruction he gave in writing before going to Calcutta itself, that he said, no tube should go into my body. But nobody should put any tube in my body. So we were reluctant because we can put some tube, but mainly he meant that he doesn't want this heart-lung machine to be put, and he doesn't want to be in artificial breathing. That was what he actually meant. He didn't want to be intubated. That's what he meant. But this is not intubation. This is just to suck out the thing. But still, he wrote that no tube should go to him. So there was some doubt whether we should put the tube and suck, or we are going against his written wishes there. We are going against his medical mandate. So then the doctors actually, the doctor on ground, he asked him that you're supposed to be unconscious. Supposed to be unconscious. He asked him, Prabhuji, we want to put some tube and suck out sputum from your chest. Can we do it? He shook his head and he said, yes. So he was in perfect consciousness. Even though medically we were trying to test his consciousness and his GCS, according to medical science, is supposed to be low. But when essential things were asked to him, he was very clearly responding to what he's saying. He was in proper consciousness. Then we tried to put tube, tried to suck, so much came out. Then again we tried, he himself went out. So sometimes we see that how devotees leave their body in very glorious way, how they are able to control their consciousness and how they are able to actually do this. It's not, then it is no longer theory. Krishna consciousness is no longer theory because it's actually happening in front of you. And it's not like those devotees are very famous and exalted, or because famous also sometimes is equated to being exalted. There are like foot soldier devotees. There was one Mataji in Mayapur, and she's a Bengali Mataji. She's called as Gopaler Ma. Everybody knows her as Gopaler Ma because she came as a young lady to Mayapur, and she came with her Gopal deity. She was always with the deity. She will do many services. She will clean the temple. Very, very simple lady, not talk to much people. She will do all sorts of menial services in the temple. Everybody knows her as Gopaler Ma. And the way she left her body was so glorious. She's not like outside Mayapur, hardly anybody might know her also. And even in Mayapur, she's not like known as some big famous devotee or something. Everybody knows her Gopaler Ma, that she will come, she will do some menial services. Whatever little prasad anybody offers, she will eat that prasad and she'll be happy with it. That's it. This is how she lived her life. Her both kidneys failed. And we're trying to tell her that, okay, we can try to put you somewhere, we can try to make treatment, we can get some kidney transplant, or we can get some dialysis for you done and all those things. Adamantly, she said that time has come for me to leave my body. I want to stay in Mayapur, leave my body. That's it. And with her Gopal, she left her body. So we can see that Krishna consciousness is not some theory that theoretically is there and and theoretically things are explained. Especially when we see devotees leaving their body, and big devotees, small devotees, normal devotees, run-on-the-mill devotees, when they leave their body. There's one Western Mataji, she had cancer and she went to Vrindavan, that Udal Baba or Hudal Baba, somebody is there. And she got some treatment from him and she was saying, I'm improving, I'm not improving, I'm improving, no, I'm not. But finally cancer completely took over her whole body. And the way she left body was glorious. These are all ordinary devotees, like they're not like quote unquote famous devotees. They're all ordinary devotees who have faith in Krishna, every day attend Mangalarati, do their rounds, do some simple service, take some prasad, and live. So, like Prabhupada here is saying that devotee has no fear of death. Sometimes we can actually get to see it when devotees are leaving their body, get to see it. And it's very inspiring to see that. As one good thing about being involved in medical services. Get a lot of inspiration. Okay, maybe one day if we are fortunate, we'll also leave our body like that. Okay, please read.
One Shastric injunction holds that a householder, a Kshatriya, or an administrator head should not refuse to accept woman if she voluntarily requests to become a wife. Since Kalakanya, the daughter of time, was deputed by Narad Muni to offer herself to Yavan Raj, the king of Yavanas, could not refuse it. All transactions must be performed in light of Shastric injunctions.
So this is also one injunction that if a woman comes to a man and she offers herself, then he should not refuse it. But again, that also must be done in light of Shastric injunctions. One should see what woman, what is my position, all these things one should see. Not that we should blindly do it. You should see that also. Okay.
Not visible. Preachers in the Krishna consciousness movement have actually experienced that even the Yavanas and Malechas have taken to spiritual life on the strength of Narad Muni's Pancharatrika Vidhi. When mankind follows the disciplic succession as recommended by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, everyone throughout the world will benefit.
So Kalakanya went and told him, Bhaya, who is the king of Yavanas, that I am daughter, I am Jara, I am daughter of time, and you please accept me as wife. You are very qualified. You can accept. You can remove my distress. You are the remover of distress of women. So please accept me. He had other plans. He accepted her, but he accepted her in a different way. Please read. So Narad Muni is saying that he is not subject to old age because he is engaged in the service of the Lord. Okay. So that is Narad Muni's part. He sends Jara to Bhaya. Okay. So figuratively, Jara is looking for a husband. Okay. So nobody is willing to accept her. Okay. So Narad Muni is saying, I sent her to Bhaya. It's just a figurative thing that along with old age, fear also comes. Fear also comes along with old age. So fear has accepted old age as his companion, or old age has accepted fear as his companion. Both of them are always together. So that is the concept. Yes, sir. It's an allegory, no? It's allegory. In allegory, these things are possible. Yeah, it's an allegory. Allegory means it's an imaginative story. Sometimes in an allegory, the writer of the allegory himself comes into the allegory. It's possible. It's just drama, no? Because when you write something which is imaginary, it is left to your imagination what you want to write. So then you can imagine to write whatever you want to write.
Thus, a sane person by attaining old age will become a fearful of death. Foolish people engage in material activities as if they will live forever and enjoy material advancement. But actually, there is no material advancement. For an intelligent person, the appearance of old age is an impetus to spiritual life. People naturally fear impending death.
Yeah. So always an intelligent person understands that there are different symptoms of old age is coming, like the joints start paining, the back starts giving problem, the hair becomes white. So they are all different symptoms of old age that slowly Emeraj is sending one love letter after other, that I am going to come to you. I am feeling separation from you. I want to see you. Like that, he is sending one love letter after other. So when a person gets these symptoms in his body, then some tablets become part of your daily routine. So all these things means that death is coming near and near. So a person should become intelligent and become serious in Krishna consciousness. I think battery is gone probably. Kalkanya was a bad bargain and no one liked her, but everything can be used in service of the Lord. Kalakanya's jara, invalidity or old age, can be used to arouse a sense of fear in people so that they will prepare for next life by engaging in Krishna consciousness. So we can tell, oh, you have become old, now you are going to die, please chant Hare Krishna. If you don't chant Hare Krishna, then Yamadutas will come. If you chant Hare Krishna, then Vishnu Dutas will come. So we can utilize that fear in positive manner and try to induce them to become Krishna conscious. So what he said to Kalakanya, Bhaya, he said that you can attack everybody in general. You can attack people in general. Why you want to enjoy with only me? Go and attack everybody and enjoy with everyone. And you can kill them with opposition. Without any opposition, you can actually kill them. So that is the idea he gave. He gave to her that why try to enjoy with one husband? I accept you as my sister, and then together we'll go and attack everybody. And anybody who attacks, you just finish him off, and then go and attack somebody else. And you finish him also off. This way we both can enjoy. So this is the proposal he made.
Therefore, Yavanraj thought it wise to kill all the karmis through the agency of Kalakanya and thus try to make them aware that materialistic advancement is not actually advancement.
Materialistic advancement is not advancement. We all know this very nicely. Sometimes, if you try to understand what is materialistic advancement, it will be crazy. Then he introduced his brother. Who is that? He is Prajwara, fever of death, Prajwara. And then he accepted her Jara as his sister, Okay.
Those who do not follow the Vedic principles are unrestricted as far as sex life is concerned. Consequently, they sometimes do not hesitate to have sex with their sisters. In this age of Kali, there are many instances of such incest. Although Yavanraj accepted the request of Narad Muni to show respect to him, he was nonetheless thinking of illicit sex. This was due to his being the king of the Yavanas and Mlechas. The word Prajvara is very significant, for it means the fever sent by Lord Vishnu. Such a fever is always set
at 107 degrees, the temperature at which a man dies. Thus, one may outwardly be a sister, mother, or daughter and still have sex. Combined and strengthened by the soldiers of Yavanraj, namely non-hygienic conditions, illicit sex, and ultimately a high degree of temperature to bring on death, they would be able to smash the materialistic way of life.
Yeah. So this is their plan, that they will combine everything, sinful sex life and non-hygienic conditions, and then fever. They will bring everything together and then they strike the living entity through death. So that is what is Kali Yuga all about. And we can see that these things are more and more happening in Kali Yuga. Sometimes you keep hearing that some family member has raped the daughter or the sister in the same family member, and so many things like that is slowly this kind of crime is increasing. Why? Because people are getting more and more addicted to sex life. People think that sex life is something which is they are entitled for. Nowadays, watching pornography has infiltrated so much into the society that it has become like a normal thing. It's become like normal thing, and the effect of that is that sexual crimes are increasing. But if you ask the liberal people, they are saying, no, it is our right. Every adult has a right to watch what content they want to watch. And then they say, it is the duty of the government to give protection. This is nonsense. That the duty of the government to give protection means that it is also the duty of the citizens to behave properly or avoid sinful life. When the citizens make sinful life as their way of life, what protection government can provide? In Kali Yuga, it's all very unrealistic expectation. That whatever protection which normally everyone is supposed to have, we give up that protection. Brahmacharya is supposed to be the protection for men, and the chastity is supposed to be the protection for women. We have willingly given up that protection. And then we want government to come and protect the men and women. Women are fighting, oh, women are not safe in this country or in this world. So women have to be protected better in this world. They are making big morcha. They are fighting and they are making big statement. But the fact is that they have given up protection. So one who has given up protection, how to protect them? So that is what is happening, that death is striking due to non-hygienic conditions and illicit way of life. So in this chapter, there are two different parts of the allegory. One part of the allegory is about Puranjana's enjoyment and having many children. The other part of the allegory is to introduce some new set of characters who are Chandavega, Kalakanya, then Jara and Bhaya and Prajwara, all those things. So now the next chapter brings all of them together. In the next chapter, now all these new characters who have been introduced, and they have their character building is done. Narada Muni has built all their characters. All these new characters have been introduced. Their characters have been built to a certain extent. And now he is going to combine all the characters together. That happens in chapter 28. We'll not be able to finish it today. We have time till tomorrow, so we can finish tomorrow. So previously it was said that the king of Yavanas and Kalakanya, they actually attacked the kingdom of Parchanabarhisar. Sorry, kingdom of Puranjana. So that is the attack of the old age and fear on the material body. So yeah, please read.
When a man is young, he does not care for old age, but enjoys sex to the best of his satisfaction, not knowing that at the end of life, his sexual indulgence will bring on various diseases, which so much disturb the body that one will pray for immediate death. The more one enjoys sex during youth, the more he suffers in old age.
So that is why in Vedic system, there is natural restriction on sex life, even for householders. Because if one enjoys sex life in unrestricted manner, then life will be hellish for them when they become old. So therefore, there is natural restriction placed on sex life. And also, there is Vanaprastha, where sex life is completely forbidden after the age of 50. So there is a complete plan that how one should live, focus on Krishna consciousness and try to leave the body in the best possible situation. But if we don't utilize these facilities and if we think, oh, these are not practical, how can we do all these things? Then what will happen? We'll all become victim of the same thing, which is unrestricted sex life and horrible death. Very difficult. Yeah, please read.
When the vital force within the body becomes weak, the body itself also becomes weak. At such a time, the death symptoms, that is the dangerous soldiers of death's superintendent Yamraj, begin to attack very severely. According to the Vedic system, before coming to such a stage, one should leave home and take sannyas to preach the message of God for the duration of life. However, if one sits at home and is served by his beloved wife and children, he certainly becomes weaker and weaker due to sense gratification. When death finally comes, one leaves the body devoid of spiritual assets.
So this is all severe warning which Prabhupada is giving for every grahastha, that he should not think that, oh, I am living grahastha life. Grahastha life is very good. Now I have a son. Now I have daughter-in-law. Now daughter-in-law will take care of me. My son will take care of me. My wife will serve me till I die in this body. A very dangerous proposition. Very dangerous proposition. One should take up Vanaprastha life, and one should detach from themselves from all these family affairs. It's not only for men, women also. They should not think that I will keep ruling the kitchen till my death. I'll keep all the keys and I will take control of all the keys of the house. I will be the ruler of the house till I die. This house is my kingdom. I will not allow my daughter-in-law to do anything without my permission. Sometimes ladies think like that, that they are so possessive about what they have. And another woman comes into their house, then she sees that woman as competitor. She herself gets the son married. She said when the son is become young man, she herself pushing the son. Oh, now you should get married. Now you should get married. Now you should get married. And then he gets married, and then he brings one girl, and then this lady goes to fight with that girl. She thinks, oh, he is a competitor. And the man is confused. My mother forced me to get married, and now my mother is making my own life miserable, fighting with my wife every day. What nonsense is happening here? Now wife is complaining, mother is complaining. He doesn't know whose side he should take. If he talks in the side of his mother, his wife will make his life miserable. If he talks in the side of his wife, his mother will make his life miserable. So it is a duty of a woman. Prabhupada says very clearly that even if she stays with her son, because she has to stay with her son for protection. Even if she stays with her son at the stage of Vanaprastha, the woman should not engage herself in household affair. She should not try to advise the daughter-in-law, oh, you should do like this, oh, you should do like that, you should be like this, you should be like that. She should not do all those things. She should let them live their life without interfering in them. Her business is she should try to chant Hare Krishna, and she should try to perfect her life. Go to temple, do some service, and see how her life can be perfected. Not still try to find fault with daughter-in-law's cooking. Oh, you cooked this sabji is not as good as my cooking. You have put little bit salt less. You have put little bit chili more. All this nonsense should be stopped. Simply, she should go and she should try to serve the temple, or she should preach, and whatever is there, happily have, eat, and tell some stories to grandchildren if grandchildren are there. Try to help them make them Krishna conscious, not get involved in family affair at all. That is the duty of a woman even if she stays at home as a vanaprastha, this is how she is supposed to live. She is not supposed to be a control freak who is still telling the daughter-in-law that you should do this, you should do that, or constantly finding fault with the daughter-in-law, trying to prove how she is better than her daughter-in-law for the rest of her life. Keep doing it, not do all those things.
One overly addicted.
Okay, please read.
One overly addicted to life at home naturally thinks of his beloved wife at the end of life. Consequently, in the next life, he gets the body of a woman, and he also acquires the results of his pious or impious activities. In this chapter, the acceptance of a woman's body by Queen Puranjana will be thoroughly explained.
Yeah. Okay, please read.
When the boy becomes a young man, he marries between the age of 20 and 25. When he is married at the right age, he can immediately beget strong, healthy sons.
Yeah, see. So what Prabhupada is saying, that get married at the age 20 and 25, and after that what they should do? Immediately beget children. So this is what Krishna conscious marriage is meant to do. Get married at the right time between 20 and 25. That means if boy is 25, girl has to be around 20 or 18, something like that. And then they should be married at that time, and then they should immediately have children. Okay.
Now female descendants are increasing because young men are very weak sexually. A male child will be born if the husband is sexually stronger than the wife. But if the female is stronger, a female child will be born. Thus, it is essential to practice the system of brahmacharya if one wishes to beget a male child when one is married. When one reaches the age of 50, he should give up family life. At that time, one's child should be grown up so that the father can leave the family responsibilities to him. When both the husband and wife lose their attachment for family and home, the wife returns home to live under the care of her grown-up children. And to remain aloof from family affairs, the husband then takes sannyas to render some service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Yeah, so in Mayapur, there are different type of vanaprasthas. Sometimes husband and wife, they are staying together as vanaprastha. Sometimes the wife is in Mayapur, husband is serving elsewhere. Sometimes the husband and wife, they stay in Mayapur, but the husband travels separately, wife travels separately, and then they live, they do their own duties in preaching. Ultimately, one should finish Grahastha life. That is the whole point. Ultimately, one should finish Grahastha life. One should not think that Grahastha life is forever. My home is forever, home sweet home. I will live in this home, I will die in this home. This is nonsense idea. One should finish Grahastha life. At the right time, one should give up Grahastha duties. If he has to earn some money to maintain himself, he doesn't have enough to maintain himself for old age, then of course he has to do something to maintain himself, but that should be minimum. It should be some minimum effort. Sometimes that Grahastha mentality simply continues in Vanaprastha life also. Vanaprastha life is not meant for earning and saving. It's very, very, very clear. Vanaprastha life is not meant for earning and saving. If there is earning, it is simply for maintenance. Whatever saving is to be done, it should be done during Grahastha life. So if you have to earn, maintain. Or if you have saved enough, with that saving, maintain Vanaprastha life, and then live a detached life. Try to go back home, back to Godhead. So Prabhupada here says, the wife returns home to live in the care of the grown-up children and to remain aloof from family affair. All Matajis, you should note this, that this is what you are supposed to do. You are supposed to remain aloof from family affair. Not interfere into what is breakfast, what is lunch, what is dinner, and where are you going, what are you doing. how much money you spent, what is the money back. None of this business. They're all, if you have son and the son is married, then you're supposed to be aloof from family affair, even when you're living in Vanaprastha life. If I don't advise my daughter-in-law and show her the right path, then what will happen to her? You should not be under such illusion. Oh, she's spoiling my son's life. I have taken care of him for 25 years so nicely. Now she's not at all taking care of my son. One should not be under this illusion. Whatever wife you found for your son, or he found himself, whatever, I don't know, in Kali Yuga, whatever might happen. But once that is done, then you should have a clear idea that now I am meant to chant Hare Krishna, I am meant to go back home, back to Godhead. Not sit and manage the treasury of the house and keep the key and still keep threatening everybody. This kind of idea you should not have. All very important for women, because women are generally attached to home and they like to keep their control on the kitchen. Never be like that. Okay, please read.
When one is harassed by the invalidity of old age, various diseases manifest at the gates of the body.
So everybody gets afflicted. So every gate of the body gets afflicted by disease. Eyes are afflicted by disease. Nowadays, eyes get afflicted by disease even when people are young. In this class itself, we can see, including myself, most of us are wearing specs. Means that eyes are not working. Eyes are not working properly. We need some extra fitting to make eyes work. And then same way, what happens to each and everything, that sometimes stomach problem, stomach cannot digest. 10 years before, I could eat so much at any time. Eating at any time, any amount of food I could eat. It was like that. I could digest so much. That we are living in Dubai, our working style is very horrible because our work day finishes at around 8 o'clock, 8:30 in the night. And then after that, we'll have program starting from 8:30 to 11:30. And then serve prasadam for everybody. And then they will all eat and go at around 12 o'clock. Then at 12:30, we'll sit and eat full prasad at the night, in the midnight, like ghost will eat prasad. I able to digest all that. But now, finished. No fire of digestion. Eat little millet, little khichdi, little this, little that, and you eat little bit, you feel like, you ate so much. There is nothing to digest. There's no fire of digestion not working properly. So that's what happens to everything. The sense of taste goes away. Before, salt, spice, everything looks good. Now, if you add little bit more spice, then whole tongue burns. You can't eat little bit more spicy food. All these things happen. It's all natural for the body. It's a machine. So it will just deteriorate. That's it. So King Puranjana was attacked by Kalakanya. And he saw that everything is being forcibly conquered from him. When King Puranjana was embraced by Kalakanya, he lost all his beauty. Being too much addicted to sex, he became very poor in intelligence and lost all his opulence. Being bereft of possession, he was conquered forcibly by the Gandharvas and the Yavanas. King Puranjana then saw that everything in his town was scattered, and his sons, grandsons, servants, ministers were all gradually opposing him. He also noted that his wife is becoming cold and indifferent. This is the situation of the miserly family man. He thinks that he is the ruler of the family, and when he is young, everybody is glorifying him. Wife is glorifying, children are glorifying. When he become old, wife is telling, "Hey, old man, keep quiet. Don't make too much noise. Just keep quiet. Whatever we are giving you, eat and keep quiet." The children are telling, "Daddy, you don't understand. Still you are blah, 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 talking. Why? Keep quiet." So the same people who glorified him, they insult him. They tell him that you are an invalid person. You keep quiet. Don't talk too much. And still he sticks to this family life. Sometimes I have seen that how parents get treated by children. And still they don't want to come out of their house. Still they are entangled in family life. Still they are entangled in family life. That's what was happening to Puranjana. Okay, please read.
A man keeps a family for enjoyment, and similarly, family members demand enjoyment from the head of the family. When they do not receive sufficient money from him, they grow disinterested and ignore his commands or desires. A miser is one who gets money but does not spend it properly. This human form of life is especially meant for understanding Brahman, for becoming a Brahman. And if we do not utilize properly, we remain a Kripana.
So when Puranjana saw all this, his family members, relative, follower, servants, secretaries, everyone turned against him, he certainly became very anxious. But he could not counteract the situation because he was thoroughly overwhelmed by Kalakanya. The object of enjoyment became stale by the influence of Kalakanya. Due to continuance of his lusty desire, he became very poor in everything. Thus, he cannot understand the aim of life. He was still very affectionate towards his wife and children. He was worried about maintaining them. They are insulting him, but out of attraction for them, he still thinks, oh, my son, without me, what he will do? Even though he is speaking very harsh words to me, but still he is only my child. And if I leave him, he will suffer. So I should not leave him. Things like that. The city of King Puranjana was overcome by Gandharva and Yavana soldiers. And although the king had no desire to leave the city, he was circumstantially forced to do so, for it was smashed by Kalakanya. So this is called death. That the body is smashed by time. This body we maintain so nicely. We think it is very nice, but it's smashed by time. Okay, please read.
He is given a chance to enjoy it in a particular type of body, beginning with the body of a Brahma down to that of the microbe. In this way, if we study each and every living entity, we will find that he will defy offers of a more comfortable position. In other words, the living entity, whatever his condition, does not want to give up the body. The living entity wishes to enjoy the material world in different ways, and therefore, by nature's law, he is allowed to transmigrate from one body to another, exactly as a person transmigrates from the body of an infant to a child, to a boy, to a youth, to a man. This process is constantly going on. Because the living entity does not hope to enter the spiritual kingdom of eternal life, bliss, and knowledge, he wants to stick to his present body, even though it may be useless. Consequently, the greatest welfare activity in this material world is the furthering of the Krishna consciousness movement. This movement is giving human society information about the kingdom of God. There is God, there is Krishna, and everyone can return to God and live eternally in bliss and knowledge. A Krishna conscious person is not afraid of giving up the body because his position is always eternal.
Yeah. So, but otherwise, fear of death is always there. And no one wants to leave the body. Prabhupada tells the story of Indra, who became pig by a curse. And then Brahma was trying to call him. Yes, Indra, please come back. And Indra is telling, no, I want to come. I don't want to come. I don't know where you want to take me. I don't know whether in that place nice gutter is there, fresh stool is there. I don't know all these things. Whether such arrangement is there to live very comfortably, soaking in gutter all day. Is that there in Swargaloka, that so-called place you are calling me? Is there arrangement there? No, arrangement is much better. No, this is best arrangement. I don't want to come. So, even though Indra, he entered the pig body, he did not want to leave the body of a pig because he was thinking, oh, this body is very good. I'm enjoying here. I have so many children. So this is the very nature of accepting the body. The very nature of this is the danger of accepting the body and thinking this body is nice thing. So we should be very careful about what we think about this body. Under circumstances, the elder brother of Yavana Raja, known as Prajwara, set fire to the city to please his younger brother, whose other name was fear itself. So this represents the fever which comes at the time of death. Represents the fever which comes at the time of death. Okay, please read.
According to the Vedic system, a dead body is set on fire, but before death, there is another fire or a fever which is called Prajwara or Vishnujwara. Medical science verifies that when one's temperature is raised to 107 degree, a man immediately dies. This Prajwara or high fever at the last stage of life places the living entity in the midst of a blazing fire.
Yeah, so this way, first of all, due to the fever, then later when he leaves the body itself is given to fire. So Narada Muni has explained this way, that how time factor has attacked the living entity and what will happen to the living entity. So he is telling the king that don't think now you are very young and you are doing so many sacrifices, you can enjoy, but very quickly you are becoming old and you are going to suffer with old age. And if you don't prepare your consciousness right now, it's going to be very terrible for you. Going to be very terrible for you. So by instructing like this to the king, Barhisar, Narada Muni is also very mercifully instructing all of us that we should get disenchanted with the idea of this material body being nice. So that is the whole idea of Puranjana's pastime, that the reality of this material body is being exposed by this allegory, and that this is what this material body is. In reality, this is what it is. And we have to utilize it at the right time for right purpose. And the best way to utilize it at the right time for right purpose is to utilize the principles of Varnashrama and practice Krishna consciousness in a very proper and safe manner. And if you do that, then there is good chance that our consciousness will be properly maintained at the time of leaving this body, and we can try to make our life successful. So we'll stop here. It's already 1:44. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada ki Gaur Premanande.